I'm here today to show you how to make money doing Dire Mall East jump runs. Now, before I get into the how, I'm going to give you two reasons why this is such a good money making method. Number one, it's farming in an instance. Have you ever gone to one of the good open world farming spots and found it crowded? Well, an instance is never off limits and it's always reliable. And number two, the items you get from Dire Mall East jump runs are always valuable. I'm talking about enchanting materials, arcane crystals, herbs. People will be wanting these things for pretty much the whole of Classic. Okay, now I need to get into group composition. There are two different kinds of groups I'm going to tell you about: 2-man and 3-man groups. Some people may tell you it's not worth doing unless you can 2-man. I think it's okay to grab two friends and have some fun in Dire Mall and still make decent money in a 3-man group. Plus, 3-man is a lot easier this early in the game when most people aren't in great gear, and it opens up the class composition quite a bit. For 2-man groups, the far and away best is the Warrior Shaman combo. It's best if the Warrior is Fury or Arms, both doing about the same overall damage, as the Fury does better single target on bosses, and the Arms Warrior will do better cleave on the few trash packs. The Shaman is the best healer for this for three reasons. One, they can do more than any other healer to increase the warrior's DPS with totems. Two, they make the second boss's mechanic trivial. And three, they can dispel both debuffs on the last boss. But we'll get into that more later. But if you don't have a Shaman, any healer will do. The main drawback is the second boss will be harder to kill. You can also 2-man as Rogue Healer. Again, Shaman being the best healer for this for reasons already stated. The Rogue will not be as effective as the Warrior because they will take more damage, and they won't be able to convert damage taken into damage as Warriors can with Rage. And finally, yes, you can 2-man as Warlock Healer. This works because the Warlock can enslave the elite satyrs in the instance and use them as a pet to tank and DPS the bosses. I've even heard that some Warlocks can solo jump runs, but I'm not sure about the methods for that, and it is outside the scope of this video. This 2-man composition may actually be better than the Warrior Shaman, but I've not tested it myself. These are the three main 2-man compositions. There may be others such as Hunter plus Healer or Feral Druid plus Healer, but they likely are not as good as these three. Now on to 3-man compositions. This is where it really opens up. Basically, the ideal 3-man would be Warrior, Shaman, and one other DPS. Now, what the best class and spec for the third DPS is depends on a few things. If you want to kill Lasher packs for loot and in turn more access to the herbs on the courtyard floor, something like a Mage or a Warlock would be your best option. If you want to simply increase your kill time on bosses, then a Hunter, Warrior, or Rogue might be what you're looking for. Keep in mind you will likely want to kill some or all of the Lasher packs when doing 3-man, or your dungeon clear time might go under 12 minutes, leading to the too many instances lockout after an hour. All the reasons for having a Warrior DPS tank and a Shaman healer for my explanation of 2-man groups still applies here. But realize it is a more relaxed run with 3 members, and more substitutions can be made. Sacrificing money per hour for cleaner runs might be what you're looking for. The second boss can be quite hard in 2-man groups without a Shaman. Before I show you what a run looks like, I have to talk about a couple more things. Professions are an important part of the gold made from this dungeon. Your team will want 275 plus mining for the rich thoriums, and level 1 or higher enchanting to disenchant the non-weapon boss drops. Missing either or both of these will result in reduced gold per hour rates. And of course, these two professions can be on the same character or spread across your group. A bonus profession is Herbalism 270 plus in order to herb the ghost mushrooms, Grom's blood, and dreamfoil found throughout the dungeon. Although this will be less of a bonus if you don't have the AoE to kill Lasher packs in the courtyard, as you will lose access to most of the herbs. Gold per hour rates will depend on the price of thorium and gems, as well as the price of enchanting materials and herbs on your server. Some of the money will come from vendoring grays or boss weapon drops, but that will most likely be less than half of the total gold made. These are general rates per person that you can expect to earn over a sufficient enough time to even out your luck on things like arcane crystals, blue sapphires, and dire Maul book drops. Results for you may vary. Alright, so we're just getting into a fresh dire Maul East. And the first thing you're going to do is jump down. Watch out for this tree patrol on the left here. You're going to try to jump on this little rock, take a little less fall damage, but jump down, heal up, and this will be your first Lasher pack right here if you are killing Lasher packs. There is a pack you can pull with this way in the northwest corner. Just watch out for that patrol that comes by there of the elite trees. Once that pack is dead, you can move on to the other pack over here. Pretty much the same thing, just kill these. This right here is a safe spot. No patrols come by right where we're standing. With that pack dead and looted, we'll move on to the next pack, and you'll have to dodge a couple of patrols here, but there is a safe spot to pull this pack to. So once you get over to them, just pull them back from where they are, about 10 yards. We're all standing. This is completely safe right here to kill them. Alright, with that pack dead, you're again dodging patrols. Right by this giant tree guy is safe. No patrol comes by here. And there's two packs right here that you can kill now if your AoE does have the mana. Or you can wait till you come back out after the second boss. We are going to kill them now as we do have the mana. Just make sure that you don't pull them by where that patrol goes. So pull them over here on the south side of this broken down pillar. So the patrol goes past on the north side there. And kill him. Now we're ready to go out of the courtyard. Now there should be a stealthed satyr in here somewhere. There are a couple that patrol around just by themselves. You will want to try to kill them before this boss so they don't surprise you while you're doing the water elemental boss. With him dead, it's time to do the boss. Now you'll want your casters to kind of hang back right where my mage friend Romulox here stopped, so they don't get hit by as many knockbacks. Now you'll want to pull this boss with a bow pull back into this corner so he doesn't knock you all over the room with his knockbacks. And it's a pretty simple fight. You're going to want to obviously hold aggro on him, stack up sunders, get all the debuffs, and just do damage. He has a stacking debuff that reduces health, but it's not a big deal. When he gets low, he will summon two adds. They only have like 400 health, so they're pretty easy to AoE down. Finish him off, and you can move on to the next boss. Now you want to run through this pool and split the gap between these two stones and then run over to the wall. Doing this, you won't pull anything. Sometimes there'll be another stealth satyr patrolling over here that you can kill easily. In the tunnel, there is another satyr. Just kill him quickly. And now we're on to the second boss. Don't leave this ledge if you're not ready to pull, as he does have a pretty large aggro radius. And this is the boss. It really helps to have a shaman for grounding totem. I'm going to pull this boss and we'll start it up. I'm going to do the same thing, stack up Sunder's DPS like I did on the water elemental boss. But he has one interesting ability, Sacrifice. So if you see down here, our mage got sacrificed on the table. And not only does this take you out of the fight for 8 seconds, but it deals 2400 damage to you and heals the boss for 2400 health. Now the best way to mitigate this is to have a shaman in your group, as if they have grounding totem out, it'll eat the sacrifice every time. Without a shaman, you'll have to either eat the sacrifice, which can be removed with Ice Block or Divine Shield, or you can try to line of sight. So an easy way for casters to line of sight is to be up here where our priest is and duck behind the pillar when he's casting the sacrifice. Now it's only a 1 second cast, but you can get line of sight off if you're quick enough. For whoever's tanking the boss, it's a little more difficult. If you do want to try to line of sight while tanking him, you're going to have to use one of these two corners and try to jump away from him as he casts it, which is no easy feat. If you are in a 3-man group, it's totally fine to take some sacrifices. I've never wiped on this boss doing 3-man. If you're in a 2-man group without a shaman, you will want to line of sight as many sacrifices as possible, or the healing the boss receives may make him unkillable. Also, healers should keep themselves above 2400 health at all times so that they don't die in a sacrifice. There will be times when the melee tank gets sacrificed. It is important to note that he seems to reset threat every time he sacrifices someone. This is particularly bad when the tank is stuck on the table for 8 seconds. Simply have your group survive through it and regain threat when the sacrifice ends. Outside of this sacrifice ability, all he does is melee and throw out a dispellable magic dot, so it's a pretty simple fight. Let's talk about boss loot. I spoke earlier about the importance of having someone to disenchant in your group. Well, if you look at this boss drop, you will see it vendors for 2 gold, which is typically under the price of a large brilliant shard. Your server may vary. It also helps keep bag space lower as shards stack. General rule of thumb is, if the drop is a non-weapon, it's worth disenchanting. Once the boss is dead, you can jump down over the edge here, aka jump run, and make your way back into the courtyard. Once back into the courtyard, one member of your group will need to go talk to the giant tree, Old Ironbark, and get him to smash down the door on the northern end of the courtyard. Now, the other members of my group are running up the east wall and looking for the book that spawns there, and we're going to meet up at this last lasher pack on the east side. Dodging the patrols, we get over to this lasher pack, and we're going to pull it behind this tree to a safe spot where none of the patrols come. With that pack dead and looted, we're ready to head to the last boss. Make your way towards the northern end of the courtyard, avoiding the patrols, and down the hallway. Once out of the hallway, watch out because one of these giant trees does patrol around this area, and you're going to come over to this little rock to jump up on the banister and run all the way down. Once down to the bottom, make sure to watch out for the giant tree that patrols back here. Oh, there he is now. They do have a giant aggro radius. And basically you'll need to kill these 3 lasher packs before we can do the final boss. These packs are nothing special, just 1 elite and a few non-elite lashers. They shouldn't be a problem for any 2-man or 3-man group, but you do need to kill them before the last boss, as they will pull with him if you don't. With the 3 lasher packs dead, we're now ready for the final boss, ALZZIN the WILDSHAPER. As you may have guessed from his name, he is a shapeshifter and has 3 different forms. The satyr form you find him in now, the Trent form, and the wolf form. He has a few particularly nasty abilities. The first is Enervate, a 1.5 second cast 10-second poison that drains 2,000 mana. He will use this in his satyr or Trent forms, targeting players with mana. If your group cannot dispel this, it is imperative that you line of sight him during the 1.5 second cast to avoid the mana drain. Casters should use the pillars in this room for that purpose. The second ability is Wither, a 1.5 second cast 21 second disease that reduces strength by 100 and deals about 1,000 damage over time. Also only usable in his satyr or Trent form. If you can't dispel this, you can line of sight it as well, but it's not the end of the world to eat a few of these. The third ability, Mangle, he will only use in his wolf form. It's an instant cast bleed that deals 2,000 damage over 20 seconds and slows the target by 50%. He will only use this on players within 10 yards of him. In addition to this, he will do more physical damage to his target while in wolf form, so healers beware. The only other ability of note is his knockback. He will knock back his current target about 15 yards and drop threat. Just get back to the boss and pick him up again if this happens. Alright, now let's start this fight up. I'm going to do similar to other bosses and stack 5 Sunders on him. You see my casters are close to the pillars so they can dodge. Up there's the first enervate. They can dodge that. And I'm also going to keep up Thunderclap and Demo Shout on him because he can hit pretty hard, especially in the wolf form. There's the knockback. I lose threat. I intercept back in and taunt him. Bring him back away so the wolf form he doesn't bleed my casters. And I'm keeping him about 20 yards away so that my mage can use Fire Blast if he wants to as well. There's Wither. My priest should dispel that. And here's the dog form. Oh, there's one thing I forgot to mention. When the boss gets down around 40 or 30% health, he will summon about 15 imps. They only have about 800 health and need to be AoE'd down. If your group is suffering from lack of AoE, you may need to elicit the help of Dense Dynamite or other types of consumable AoE. Since we have a mage in our group, I'll let him handle the imps. And I usually pop Death Wish after the first wolf form, so I don't take too much damage during that wolf form. And the boss is dead. That's simple. We did get a book spawn over here. Let's see if that has anything in it. Nope, better luck next time. But here is where the fun is only beginning. Rich thorium veins, between 2 and 4 of them. Congratulations, you've just completed a Dire Maul East jump run. Thank you for watching the video, I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to watch me in real time, you can find me streaming at twitch.tv/Leecherboy, link in the description. And as always, happy gaming.